maybe closer attention to public opinion. Because we live in democracies and we are led by people who fight for our votes, and that places a constraint on them. That could explain also the lack of vision to some extent, because they want to be re-elected. My colleagues and myself did a study called EU Vox. It is a voting advice application, which was conducted also in other countries of the EU, where people had to respond to the question if they would agree that their country pays some cost as a result of a conflict with Russia. As you probably expect, Romania was a country where the vast majority of citizens said yes, they would be willing to pay the cost. The surprise for me was the large variation among the other countries. So it would be nice to see united Europe against Russia, but when we look to public opinion and we see Greece to the other extreme, which is not a big surprise, but also Germany, very close to Greece, we see what kind of constraints are placed on politicians. Of course, it's their duty to educate their public, and of course, foreign affairs are not on the most important, the salient issue in the elections. Roșia Montana is a fascinating example because we also had a question about support for the mining project. As you probably expect, the vast majority of respondents said they do not support the project. It's interesting because 2 years ago it was the opposite. So public opinion changed a lot, which suggests to me that 2 years ago the public was not informed, it was not interested, it was not a real public opinion because it was a non-issue for many people and they were exposed only to the campaign, the publicity from the company. I also expect that now public opinion is more fixed and it will change slowly over time. But my question is the following. Which other distributions of opinions that we see now in surveys are fixed and which are flexible? So let's assume that we would have politicians who embrace the cause of Russia publicly, so we have a real debate in the public space. I cannot anticipate how the public will divide on this issue. I think that would be a benefit for the people to get exposed as often as possible. With the European elections, what we saw was that European Parliament votes very often on issues that are never discussed in Romania. So the paradox was that people voted for local parties that then will vote as their European groups will tell them to vote, which is again a big miss for democracy. But I think the solution should come from many directions. So not just young politicians who embrace a new discourse, but many sections from the society. I think professional associations, it's a good starting point. But it's not only civil society, as it was suggested, but one type of civil society that is still missing, one that is engaging more often in public debates.